First contact and betrayal. The void between stars had always been Dominion Commander Zexdalaker's favorite view. From the command deck of the Sovereign Might, flagship of the Nixilian Empire's 7th Conquest Fleet, the galaxy unfurled before him like a tapestry of opportunity. 12,000 years of expansion had taught the Nixilians that the universe belonged to those bold enough to take it. Time to emergence from slit space, Zex asked, his 6 eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of anticipation in his species. 3 minutes, Commander, replied Tactical Officer Cray, her exoskeletal fingers dancing across holographic controls. All systems optimal. Cloaking technology engage. Excellent. Zex's lipless mouth curved in what passed for a smile among his kind. And our intelligence on this world. Science Overseer Talum approach, her slender frame gliding across the command deck. Designation: Earth. Species: human. Technology level: mid-development. Still reliant on fossil fuels and chemical propulsion for space travel. Nuclear capabilities, but limited to their own system. No unified planetary government. Multiple nation-states, frequently in conflict. Primitive, then. As expected, Zex settled into his command chair, the neural interface connecting with his cerebral implants. The standard approach will suffice. Observe, assess, demand surrender, conquer. The Empire's methodology was refined over millennia, a perfect machine of conquest that had absorbed 317 worlds into the Nixilian dominion. Earth would be no different. Emergence in 10 seconds, announced Cray. The Sovereign Might slipped into normal space at the edge of Earth's solar system, followed by the 47 vessels of the Conquest Fleet. Their cloaking technology, perfected over thousands of years, rendered them completely invisible to what Nixilian intelligence suggested were Earth's primitive detection systems. Begin passage scans, ordered Zex. I want complete data on their defenses, communication networks, and power grids. For 3 Earth days, the Nixilian fleet observed. They intercepted communications, mapped defense installations, and cataloged the planet's resources. What they found pleased Zex immensely. Water in abundance, rare minerals, diverse biospheres, and a species advanced enough to have built useful infrastructure, but not advanced enough to pose any meaningful resistance. Prepare the first contact protocols, Zex commanded on the 4th day. Let us introduce ourselves to humanity. The message was broadcast worldwide, overriding all electronic communications, a demonstration of power meant to instill awe and fear, in every language simultaneously, on every screen and device. People of Earth, we are the Nixilian Empire, masters of 12,000 stars. Your world has been selected for integration into our glorious dominion. Resistance is futile and will result in unnecessary suffering. Submit, and you will be permitted to exist as a protectorate species. You have 48 hours to communicate your surrender through your designated world leaders. The Nixilian Empire awaits your wise decision. On Earth, the response was immediate and chaotic. Panic spread across continents. Military forces mobilized. Religious leaders proclaimed the end times. Markets crashed. But something unexpected occurred. Within 12 hours, Earth's response arrived, not in the form of terrified capitulation, but as a request for a diplomatic meeting. They wished to negotiate. Zex couldn't contain his amusement. How novel. It's not unprecedented, Commander, noted Talum. Species often attempt diplomacy before accepting inevitability. Of course, let them have their moment of dignity. Zex gestured dismissively. Prepare a delegation. I will lead it myself. The meeting was arranged in a neutral location, a space station the humans had constructed in orbit around their planet. Primitive by Nixilian standards, but sufficient for the purpose. The human delegation consisted of 7 individuals representing Earth's major powers. Their spokesperson, a female named Dr. Eleanor Chen, director of the United Earth Defense Initiative, greeted the Nixilians with unexpected composure. Commander Zex Valakar, on behalf of humanity, "I welcome you to our solar system," she said, her voice steady. "We hope to establish peaceful relations between our peoples." Zex's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Dr. Chen, let us dispense with pleasantries. Your species has two options, surrender or destruction. I am here merely to accept your submission and outline the terms of your integration." Chen's expression remained unchanged. "Perhaps there's a third option, a mutual exchange of knowledge and resources. Earth has much to offer as an ally rather than a conquest." "You misunderstand your position," Zex replied coldly. "The Nixilian Empire does not form alliances with lesser species. We conquer, we absorb, we rule. This is the natural order of the universe. And if we refuse—" Zex leaned forward. "Then we will demonstrate why 317 worlds before yours chose wisely to surrender." To his surprise, Dr. Chen smiled. "I understand. Thank you for your clarity, Commander." The meeting concluded shortly thereafter, with the humans requesting an extension of the deadline to consult with all Earth governments. Zex granted them an additional 24 hours, a meaningless gesture of magnanimity that would be recorded in the official conquest logs. Back aboard the Sovereign Might, Tactical Officer Cray approached Zex with uncharacteristic hesitation. "Commander, something troubles me about the humans. Their impending extinction, perhaps," Zex quipped. "No, sir." Their response. It was too composed. "Our psychological profiles suggested panic, disorganization, possibly attempted nuclear strikes out of desperation. Instead, they're remarkably unified and calm." Zex dismissed her concerns. "Different species process inevitability differently. Perhaps humans simply move quickly through the stages of grief." As the deadline approached, Earth remained silent. No surrender came, no desperate pleas, no attempted strikes against the fleet. "Curious," Zex muttered as the final hour elapsed. "They choose extinction, then. Prepare the first wave." Standard Conquest Protocol. The Nixilian Conquest Protocol was methodical. First, neutralize orbital assets. Second, destroy military command centers. Third, disable power and communication infrastructure. Fourth, demonstrate overwhelming force against population centers until resistance crumbled. The first wave of Nixilian fighters descended toward Earth's atmosphere, targeting satellites and space stations. But as they approached, something unexpected happened. "Commander," Cray's voice cracked with alarm. "We're detecting energy signatures, massive energy signatures from the planet's surface." Before Zex could respond, beams of concentrated energy, technology the Nixilians have believed impossible for humans, lanced upward from multiple locations on Earth. 3 Nixilian fighters exploded instantly. "Impossible," Zex roared. "Their technological assessment was wrong," finished Talum, her eyes wide with shock, "or deliberately misleading." The command deck erupted in chaos as reports flooded in. Earth's supposedly primitive defense systems were revealing themselves to be anything but. Hidden installations activated worldwide, unleashing weapons that shouldn't have existed. Orbital platforms that had appeared defenseless suddenly generated energy shields that matched Nixilian technology. "Full attack pattern," Zex commanded. "Deploy all fighters. Launch planetary bombardment." But as the Nixilian fleet mobilized for all-out war, another surprise awaited them. Hundreds of small craft emerged from Earth's atmosphere, fighters with maneuverability that defied Nixilian tactical predictions. They swarmed the larger Nixilian vessels, targeting specific vulnerabilities with precision that spoke of intimate knowledge of Nixilian ship design. "How do they know where to strike?" gasped Cray as another Nixilian cruiser reported critical damage. Science Overseer Talum stared at her readings, her voice barely audible. "Commander, I don't think this is first contact for them." "Explain," demanded Zex as the ship shuddered from a direct hit. "The humans, they are using modified versions of technologies we've seen in only one other place, the Arctuvian resistance." Talum's eyes met Zex's. "The civilization we conquered a century ago. Somehow, they made contact with Earth. Realization dawned on Zex with horrifying clarity. The Arctuvians, believed completely subjugated, had somehow warned Earth, and Earth had spent decades preparing. "Commander," came the communications officer's voice, "we're receiving a transmission from Earth. Text only." The message appeared on the main screen, simple yet chilling in its confidence. "Nexilian Empire, you are the 7th alien fleet to enter our space with conquest in mind. None of the previous 6 exist anymore. We gave you the opportunity to leave in peace. You chose war. You chose extinction. Humanity stands ready." Zex stared at the message, mandibles clicking in disbelief as another explosion rocked the sovereign might. The hunters had become the hunted, and Earth's final transmission hadn't been a surrender, it had been a declaration. "Defiance and retribution. Status report now," Commander Zex Valaker demanded, his voice cutting through the chaos on the command deck of the Sovereign Might. Smoke billowed from damaged consoles as emergency systems fought to contain the damage from Earth's unexpected counterattack. Tactical Officer Kray's exoskeleton gleamed under the emergency lighting as her trembling appendages worked the remaining operational systems. 17 vessels lost, Commander. 22 reporting critical damage. Our forward shield generators are operating at 31% capacity. We've lost contact with all ground forces deployed in the regions designated as North America and Eastern Asia. "Impossible," Zex hissed, his 6 eyes blinking rapidly in distress. No pre-space flight civilization could inflict such damage on an Nexilian conquest fleet. Science Overseer Talam approached, her slender form moving with unusual urgency. "Commander, I've completed analysis of the human weapons technology. It's a hybrid. The underlying principles are Arctuvian, but they've been modified, improved. The humans didn't just receive Arctuvian technology, they enhanced it." Zex's mandibles clicked in agitation. The Arctuvians were barely half a step above the humans technologically when we conquered them. How could this primitive species improve upon alien technology they couldn't possibly comprehend? "That's what I've been trying to understand," Talam replied, her voice hushed with reluctant admiration. "Their scientific databases, the ones we accessed during our observation period, they contain theoretical frameworks for technologies they supposedly haven't developed yet. It appears they deliberately maintain 2 scientific fronts, one public, one hidden." The ship shuddered as another impact rocked the hull. The holographic battle display showed Earth fighters executing maneuvers that defied Nexilian tactical prediction algorithms. "Sir," Communications Officer Jex interrupted, "we're receiving transmissions between human vessels. They're not encrypting them." "Arrogance," Zex spat. "Put them through." The command deck filled with the voices of human pilots. "Eagle Squadron, execute Arctuvian Defense Pattern Theta. Confirmed. Deploying phase-shifted torpedoes now. Dragon Team, we've got Nexilian reinforcements entering atmosphere over Pacific Quadrant. Quantum jammers activated. This is Phoenix Base. Planetary shield grid at 89% and holding. Recalibrating countermeasures for their second wave." Zex's blood ran cold. These weren't the desperate communications of a civilization facing extinction. They were the coordinated efforts of a species that had prepared for this exact scenario. "They knew we were coming," he whispered. "Not just about alien life. They knew the Nexilian Empire specifically was coming." Talam's analysis screen displayed a disturbing pattern. "Commander, I'm detecting communication nodes activating across multiple human population centers. They're bringing additional defensive systems online, systems that weren't active during our initial scans." On the main viewer, a new wave of Earth vessels emerged from concealed bases on the planet's moon, bases that had appeared as nothing more than abandoned mining operations in their initial reconnaissance. "All vessels, execute tactical retreat to fallback position Alpha," Zex ordered, his pride giving way to survival instinct. "Prepare the quantum communicator. The Imperial Council must be informed." "Sir," protested Cray. A retreat has never been ordered in a standard conquest operation. The protocols assumed technological superiority. Zex snapped. Something we clearly don't have in this engagement. Execute the order. As the surviving Nixilian vessels attempted to regroup, Earth's forces pressed their advantage. Ships that should have been easy targets were dancing through Nixilian targeting grids. Weapons that should have been ineffective against advanced Nixilian shields were punching through them with terrifying precision. "Commander," Jex reported, "we're receiving a direct communication request from Earth Command." Zex hesitated, then nodded. "Put it through." The holographic display flickered, and the face of Dr. Eleanor Chen appeared. The same human who had met with Zex during the diplomatic contact. But gone was the deferential diplomat. Her eyes were hard, her expression resolute. "Commander Zex Valakar," she began, her voice steady. "Your fleet is crippled. Your ground forces have been neutralized. I'm offering you one opportunity to save the lives of your remaining crews. Withdraw from our solar system immediately and deliver a message to your Imperial Council." Zex's mandibles clicked in fury. "You think you can dictate terms to the Nixilian Empire? This is merely a temporary setback. Our full might will never reach Earth," Chen interrupted. "The Artuvians weren't the only civilization to warn us about you. We've been preparing for the Nixilian Empire for over 70 Earth years. Every conquest strategy in your standard protocols has been anticipated and countered." A chill ran through Zex's exoskeleton. Impossible. What other civilization could have? "The Korvax," Chen replied simply. The name hung in the air like a death sentence. The Korvax, one of the first civilizations conquered by the Nixilians 12,000 years ago. A species believed to have been completely assimilated into the Empire. "The Korvax are extinct," Zex stated flatly. Chen's smile contained no warmth. "That's what you were meant to believe. A small colony ship escaped during your conquest. They spent millennia wandering the stars, warning others about the Nixilian threat. When they found Earth, we were primitive, barely harnessing electricity. But they saw potential in us. They lived among us, guided our development, prepared us." Images began flooding the command deck screens, historical photographs from Earth's history with certain individuals highlighted. Individuals whose features, seen with new understanding, contained subtle non-human characteristics. Korvax hiding in plain sight throughout human history. "You've been deceived, Commander," Chen continued. "Earth isn't an isolated developing world. We're the hidden fortress of a galactic resistance that has been growing for thousands of years. Every species you thought you'd successfully conquered has sent their knowledge to us. Every weakness in your empire has been documented and studied." Another explosion rocked the sovereign might as Earth forces continued their assault on the retreating Nixilian fleet. "Here is the message you will take to your council." Chen's voice hardened. "The age of Nixilian conquest is over. Earth is declaring itself the protector of all free civilizations. We have already dispatched envoys to 17 of your conquered worlds, delivering the technologies needed to break your control. The revolution has begun." The implication struck Zex with paralyzing force. If what she said was true, if Earth had found a way to arm and organize the subjugated worlds, the 12,000-year empire could collapse in months. "You cannot possibly succeed," Zex replied, but his voice lacked conviction. "The empire spans thousands of worlds, many of which despise your rule," Chen countered. "We don't need to defeat your entire empire ourselves. We just needed to defeat one conquest fleet convincingly enough to show the galaxy you're not invincible." She leaned forward, her expression intense. "Your fleet has 10 minutes to begin withdrawal. Any vessel remaining in our solar system after that time will be destroyed. And Commander, the next Nixilian ship that enters our space will be considered an act of war against not just Earth, but the newly formed Galactic Alliance." The transmission cut, leaving the command deck in stunned silence. "Orders, sir?" Cray asked quietly. Zex stared at the tactical display. Half his fleet destroyed or disabled. Earth's defenses still at nearly full strength. Reports of human forces actually boarding and capturing intact Nixilian vessels for their technology. "Implement full withdrawal," he ordered, his voice hollow. "Plot course back to Nixilian space." As the battered remnants of the once mighty 7th Conquest Fleet limped away from Earth, Zex gazed at the blue planet on the viewscreen. For 12,000 years, the Nixilian Empire had encountered only conquest or subjugation. Never defeat, never humiliation. "Commander," Talum approached hesitantly. "There's something else you should see." During their attack, the humans transmitted a data packet into our systems. It bypassed all our security protocols. "What did it contain?" Zex asked, dreading the answer. "Coordinates, the locations of 27 resistance movements on worlds we thought were completely pacified. And a timestamp. They've been coordinating this for decades, waiting for us to make our move against Earth so they could launch simultaneous uprisings across the Empire." A final message appeared on the main screen as the fleet accelerated away from Earth's solar system. "Remember, Commander, you chose extinction. Not for your species, but for your empire. The Nixilian dominion ends now. Humanity stands with the free worlds of the galaxy." Zex watched silently as Earth receded from view, knowing he was witnessing not just the first defeat of a Nixilian conquest fleet, but perhaps the beginning of the end for an empire that had believed itself eternal. In their arrogance, they had attacked not a primitive world, but the hidden heart of a resistance 12,000 years in the making. And humanity's final transmission hadn't been a plea for mercy. It had been a declaration of a new era in the galaxy.